Hello Drag Race fans, welcome to my channel. My name is Jer. I am going to be discussing 2 episodes of Canada's Drag Race Season 4. I'm going to be talking about the Lipsync Smckdown as well as the Brusical. So we got 2 things to get through. I'm going to try and get through them as quickly as possible. I want to headline all of this by saying I don't know if it was smart back-to-backing 2 performance challenges. I'm sure that it's just the way that the cookies crumbled with the way that they wanted to structure the show. I think this was kind of a mistake because the lip sync special was such a big production that's so heavy on their bodies, and even their commentary the next day, the next episode in the workroom proved that they were tired and they were sore. And I feel like that definitely hindered them because I felt that there was a little bit of reservation with their movements and how they were performing. So let's start out with the lip sync slay off. And I want to say that I think it's so great that Canada is constantly telling Drag Race, this is how you do this challenge. This is not the first time that Canada's Drag Race has borrowed something from a regular franchise and done it better. This is how it should be done every single time. I've always wondered how it would work if they wanted to have a winner of the lip sync smackdowns. And this is the way to do it. Have clear bottoms right from the beginning and then give those people a chance to lip sync at the end, or do what they did in season 15 where whoever wins gets the responsibility of choosing who's gonna be safe from the bottom groups, right? That would be the simplest way to structure something like this in a mainline season. And just have it be a 3-way lip sync, because a 3-way lip sync is not that messy. A 3-way lip sync is pretty easy to structure, especially if you do a 3-part song. There's plenty of those that exist. Bang Bang is one of those that comes to mind. That would be so easy to just find something similar to that, where there's 3 people singing, everyone gets to do it. They already did it in season 13 when they did a 3-way lip sync, and that wasn't messy either. So this would be something really easy that a US season could adapt. I think that throughout the whole thing, I already knew in my heart that Nira was gonna win because Nira is just perfection when she lip syncs. Everything she did this whole episode was flawless from head to toe. But you know who else was? Miss Melinda Verka, because she was just so extra. The floofing of the wig, just for it to casually flop right back into her face. The unnecessary death drop, just to punctuate that she had AARP. She looked so good too. This was some of the best makeup that I've seen from her. This was a really good color on her. Overall, great week for her. I thought it was a really great bounce back for Aurora. I thought that Kiki just, Kiki had a hard time. And I understand that she had someone really strong against her. Venus is doing really well, and Venus is a great performer. It was just a really unfortunate pair up. I love that they got to choose what song they wanted to lip sync, and as a proxy, get to choose who to lip sync with. Because let's say they had their eye on a song and they said, I really want to do that one, but then they saw who their partner would be and they thought, I'm gonna lose to them. They could pivot and choose someone else that might be a better fit for them. I loved how just fierce it was that Nira said, we have unfinished business, so I'm gonna send her butt home this time, in reference to Amy. And then even during the judges' critiques, saying, I'll teach Winnie how to do the splits and I'll teach Amy at the same time. Everything. I also really liked Melinda pointing at the judges during the you think you know it all part of the song, and really just like pivoting that she thinks they've been acting crazy towards her. The gall, the gumption, and the nerve to point at the judges as if they are the know-it-alls and then mock them and proceed to keep making eye contact that they are being ridiculous, displayed a level of television that we have not seen from a queen on this show in so long. Not in Canada, not abroad. We haven't had someone that's to this level in so long, and what Melinda is doing is something that a lot of people can't do, and that's be great at television and not worry about their image. She's playing directly into the role that she wants to play, whether she's doing it intentionally or not. She's doing it, and that authenticity is what everybody is responding to. There's not a single person that I follow that isn't talking about Melinda each week. They're only tuning in to this season to see what she's going to do next. because she's just so bombastic and so wild, and we'll see that in the next episode as well. And then moving into Black Velvet, there's been a lot of discussion on whether Nira deserved that lip sync win or not. And honestly, I thought that Nira captured the sort of soul of the song despite doing a lot of moves. I think we all think about Jujubee and how she drunk lip sync to that song so perfectly. And then we see Nira versus Aurora doing a lot of acrobatics and really putting their whole bodies into it. And I think some people are not really responding really positively to that because it's a song with a certain kind of vibe, right? But I think that of the two of them, bringing it to a modern period and not a Park and Bark or a Lay on the Ground and lip sync as if you are going to die in that next moment. I think what the two of them did was really special, and you can't even compare these two lip syncs to each other. It's the same way that you can't really compare, knock on wood, the Sasha Colby and Anitra version to what Stacey and Alexis did. They were just completely different versions of the same song, two completely different styles tackling it. In the same way that we've seen other lip syncs that have been on the show. Tell It to My Heart. That's another one where the first time it was performed and the second time it was performed were just so different. And I think whenever we compare lip syncs to something someone else has done, it's sort of a disservice to those performers. In any case, I enjoyed what Nira did. I thought she captured the song and I thought she deserved the win. Part of me wanted her to be messy and save Amy just to see what would happen. I think that we would have lost Kiki in that moment. And as a big Kiki Ko fan, I would have been very disappointed in that. I'm glad that she saved Denim, but that means we lost Kitten Caboodle, and that really hurt. I pinned Kitten as being a top 4 player. I was kind of bummed to see her go. I thought she was gonna make it all the way to the end. Granted, I think that Kitten should have been in the bottom during the design challenge. That's just me. Or at least bottom 3. So I mean, I think maybe Kitten would have gone home sooner in a reality where I was judging the show. That doesn't mean I didn't want her to go further in the competition. And just like that, we are down from 8 to 6. And also, no more Golden Beaver. I have a feeling there's 2 parts to this. One, the judges really want to have a chance to say who makes it to the end. They don't want any shenanigans or buffoonery making its way to the end. But also after this episode, it's gonna be, you're on the top or the bottom. And they want to have a little more control over who's gonna go home in that scenario. But also, I think production-wise, it makes sense to sort of remove the power again, so then we can sort of appreciate what we had as the Golden Beaver, and then they can audience test how they're feeling and how they responded to the Beaver versus the judges' critiques. Which, let's start off the Brusical with the judges' critiques. The Brusical was called From Drags to Riches, and God, this was a suspiciously judged episode. If they were gonna take away the Golden Beaver, I wish that they had at least had good judging. And I'm so sorry to all these people. They did a great job, but this was weird. In the words of Jessica Wilde, that was weird for me. The whole thing. I really didn't think that Aurora was top 3. I thought Aurora was bottom 3. And there's 2 reasons why, and this is not me hating on her. So if anybody's like, you're an Aurora hater, Aurora's top 4 for me. Oh, it was Aurora and Kitten and Denim, and I didn't even know who the other one was gonna be. I was hoping it was gonna be Kiki, but I had no clue. I love Aurora. I think she's fierce. I thought the performance was lacking something, and I think that something was comedy. In those moments where the voiceover goes, that was the moment to like turn really fiercely and be like, and then like when it goes, then you go, and really ham it up and camp it. And I thought Aurora was just sort of like, it was too coy. It was Alyssa Edwards having an orgasm where Jinx was really going for it. And that was a moment to really go for it. And then the actual outfit itself was really nice, but my parameter for judging a runway is always if you were to just look at it right there without any prompt and say, what is that? What is this? What's the theme? What's the theme of this Met Gala? I think you would look at that and think like corpse, zombie, maybe you might think like corpse bride, but it'd be some amalgamation of those. I don't know if you would look at that particular outfit and think always a bridesmaid. I think you would look at Melinda's and be like, bitch, that's a bridesmaid runway. That is clearly like an ugly bridesmaid outfit. I feel like you would look at denims and you could suss out based off of what the materials were. Either it was ribbon or garter. And then you'd probably get somewhere that was bridal. Again, I feel like denims and Aurora's were sort of in like the realm of bride. I think if you were to look at Kiki's, you would 100% get that as well. But Kiki's performance was so weak in the challenge and just didn't do anything. And then denims was just the wrong energy for gospel. I felt like the hair wasn't really right either. The energy and the beats were off. That was the biggest problem with denim's performance, is the beats were really off. And this runway theme is I bring the beat, and denim was not bringing the beats. They were bringing beats, but they were off beats. Melinda popping out as Megan was the strangest thing in the world. And to be honest, I cackled. She came around that corner and I audibly cackled. I don't think I was supposed to, but I did. It was a funny performance. And for someone who's so old to be playing someone who's so young, I thought was really hysterical. And I think that she really leaned in on the comedy. And in my opinion, Melinda was the clear winner of the challenge itself and of the runway, but we'll talk about that in a second. And then Neera's was so stunning. And what Neera did in that lip sync, I don't even care if she did it last week. And that's why I say they shouldn't have done 2 performance challenges back to back. It's sort of like doing 2 design challenges back to back, because then you compare everything to what they did previously, in the same way that when they did the hairball right next to the makeover challenge, right next to the money ball, it just made everything that Yara did look less good because she did so excellent in the hairball. But then it made everything conversely look that much better for someone like Raja because she did so bad in the makeover and was fine in the hairball. When you do challenges that are back to back of the same caliber, like when you do an improv right next to Snatch Game, it makes whoever struggles look even worse because you're comparing it to either how good or bad they did last time and saying you were really good last time and now you did worse, or you were really bad and you didn't learn anything and you stayed bad. And because they were already tired from their performance, it sort of just made everything a little bit weaker for all of them. But Neera really turned it out. She turned her whole ussy inside out for that performance. It was perfectly Brooke. She had all the isms. She literally did the costume change, the hair reveal, the flip, and even the coming off the runway were identical. I have watched that season so many times. I have watched Drag Race so many times. The exact walk that Brooke did going off that runway was precisely the one what Neera did. And Neera, in my opinion, was neck and neck with Melinda. It came down to the runway. And I think if I were to look at Neera's outfit, I would think it was more Southern Belle, or it was more like Bayou, New Orleans themed. If I were to just pull it out of Canada's Drag Race, I would be like, that's probably like Southern woman, church lady situation. I don't know if I would necessarily get bridesmaid. And that's where Melinda really shined and looked like a bridesmaid to me. Venus's performance was really strong. I thought it was a good showing. It was definitely giving a lot of Celine, and I was into that. It was good. It was a very safe, high performance. And now before we get into the runways, let's do our weekly appreciation of Brooklyn Heights. Both outfits, both stunning. We do not deserve her. A moment, please. Thank you so much. Now let's do the runway. Commence shakedown. So we got Melinda Verga first up. Now, let's talk about this red, because this red is so problematic. It is the ugliest color in the entire universe for a dress, especially for a bridesmaid, and that's why it's perfect. Her presentation was really funny. This hat is incredible with all these flowers. It does not look low budget to me, and they kind of made it seem like she was giving a low budget performance. But when I think of a bridesmaid outfit, I want it to be kind of tacky, low budget, and that's what this was. It was wonderful, and it was spectacular, and it was deserving of a top placement. And in my opinion, this was the winner of the entire challenge for me. I also really loved on the runway where she was like cleaning her teeth while pointing. It was really smart because that's such a bridesmaid thing to do. She understood the assignment of what she was supposed to do. Next, we have Aurora Matrix, and the makeup is one of my favorite things I think I've seen from Aurora so far. I really love this look. To be honest, she looks like somebody else, but I hate comparing drag queens, so I'm not gonna say who I think she looks like, but she looks like somebody else in this particular makeup. It's so weird seeing her with these proportions. The hair was nice, but again, I think everything about it reads more like corpse bride to me than bridesmaid. I think also my biggest complaint is that these little notes that are on her, I wouldn't know that those were invitations unless I was right on top of it. And they were so haphazardly placed, sort of like how they read Kennedy Davenport during the ball for just taking the Hello Kitty heads and placing them in weird rows. That's what these invites were. In the flower bouquet, it was lovely, but everywhere else it was just so haphazard. And I think if it had been maybe like some type of cascading arm thing, or if it was, I don't know, a ruffle in the back, maybe it would have been read a little more interesting. To me, it kind of came across as, well, I have this dress, but it's not enough, so I'm gonna glue something onto it, and that'll be enough. That'll meet the challenge criteria. And for me, this was kind of like a bottom 3 look on top of the performance, in my opinion, not being what it could have been. And then we have Kiki Ko, who I really loved this look. I loved the grandma makeup. I thought it very much gave some type of bridal prom situation. So on that end, I would have definitely pulled out a little bit and thought, this might not have been precisely the prompt. I love this color. It's just tacky enough to be a bridesmaid's outfit. But again, her performance was not good in the Brusical, so I understand why she was in the bottom 3, and I think she fully deserved to be. I just liked this, and I'm a huge Kiki Ko stan, and I just love everything she does. And then Brooke saying that she got fingered was the funniest thing in the whole entire world. Next we have Nira Enough, and God, I love this look. Again, it sort of gives me more Southern Belle than Bridesmaid, which is why I think this was maybe number 2 if I were to rank everything. But this is one of the best that Nira's looked, and this color is so rich on her. I love the blonde with this. The presentation was wonderful. And if I'm not mistaken, this color is actually the 2024 color. So props on her for early thinking about that. Next is Venus. And I do love this look. I had promised I am not pooping on this look at all. This is a great look. To me, this is very much like when Laganja came out in that butterfly outfit in her season, where I thought, wow, this is something so unique and different. I love this concept. I love that drink. The makeup was excellent. The hair flower was beautiful, stunning, perfect. The actual dress part, if I were to look at this whole package, I wouldn't think bridesmaid. I would also think that it was like floral. That was the big theme. And I don't know. I didn't really get bridesmaid from it. It's not a bad look, but I didn't get bridesmaid. But she's beautiful. Then we have denim, and I love this look so much. The garters made into a dress was one of the smartest things that I've seen. I love the way that denim's mind works. Every time that denim steps on the runway, I get excited because I just can't wait to see what she's gonna do. I can't wait to see how they're going to present themselves. And taking every garter that they've ever caught at every wedding as the storyline behind it was brilliant. This was a wonderful runway. If I have to nitpick, I wish that there were panties. I hate nothing more than when a drag queen does some type of drop or a dip or puts their legs in the air and they don't got a panty, and I noticed that denim did not have a panty, and I hate that. I hate it. It drives me up the wall. So during critiques, Aurora ends up winning the challenge, which again, I really thought should have gone to Melinda. I was actually kind of surprised that Aurora was in the top. I thought she was gonna be at least bottom 3 because the runway package wasn't quite to par and the performance was kind of low energy to me. So I was really surprised. The judges must have seen something that the rest of us didn't see. The bottom two I completely agreed with. Denim and Kiki were the lowest energy in the number, and they had probably one of the worst presentations. I think if they had swung somebody else in, I think that they would have absolutely never let Kiki slide through another episode if the winner had remained Aurora, and it had been choose between Denim, Venus, and Kiki to be in the bottom, because it certainly would not have been Mother Melinda, and it definitely would not have been Nira. I don't think that Aurora would have kept Kiki. Between Venus and Denim, they both have alliances. All three of them have alliances with each other. But I think that she would have kept Venus over Denim, and I think it still would have resulted in the same decision. Now, in my opinion, I think that Kiki represented the song better. There was like a certain point where she was like shimmying and doing this, and I thought that's the mood of the song. I thought she got it, and I thought she really took what the energy was and was emblemic. Is that the word? Sounds like a sickness. She was emblemic of that, if that's the right word I'm looking for. I really enjoyed the performance. I thought the splits didn't need to happen. The throwing of the bussy onto the ground and then throwing the legs up, it was just unnecessary for the song. I really liked when Kiki sort of like wiped her lip, and it was really like she got the energy of the song. Like, I'm gonna clean, I'm gonna do the dishes, and then I'm gonna do a little extra for you, daddy. It very much gave housewife, doing housewife stuff and then a little extra because she wants to. Where Denim's performance was sort of just giving, I really don't want to leave and I'm gonna pull everything out just to see what sticks to the wall like spaghetti. So for me, I really thought that Kiki won, and I think the internet is kind of agreeing. If you disagree, please tell me why. Because I think that splits or anything adjacent, like a death drop split situation to a gospel, what genre was that? Sort of like 60s, 70s sort of vibe to it. I thought that was an automatic DQ for the song and really just didn't fit the vibe or the mood. And then especially knowing that next week is going to be a design challenge, I think they probably knew that Kiki was going to get another win, and they didn't want to give that to her because they really want to keep Denim to the finale. And now I worry that it's Mother Melinda's time out. But if it's like Melinda and Denim at the bottom, why Denim? I think, I really don't know who's going to go home next, because if Venus or Nira or Melinda are in the bottom, they're going to demolish a lip sync. Demolish and eat. So this is Denim's time to go. And I mean, Aurora's gonna demolish a lip sync. There are 4 lip sync assassins and then Denim. So I just don't know how Denim will survive unless they make the top. Like, if they're in a bottom placement, they are absolutely 100% going home. And I think with all of the transphobia and aggression that's happening towards Denim right now, because let's call a spade, people are being transphobic towards Denim and are literally only, people are comparing them to Mick, and people are saying they're a knockoff Mick because they're a trans man with a vocal fry with high concept looks. That's not even the same. There have been almost 200. There have been like 300 cis men on Drag Race that pretty much all copy each other after a certain point. And people are being especially harsh on Denim for being one of a few trans men who have shown up on the show. It seems really gross and pointed. I feel like if Denim goes home next week, people are gonna be even more aggressive. I need you to stop. I need you to cool it off and figure out why you are being so aggressive. We can have our opinions and we can dislike how the show is going and the production, and I personally think these judges are crack-smoking judges, in the words of Tim Gunn. And I think that this whole episode was so wild, and it very much felt like we haven't done this in many episodes, so we are figuring it out. We haven't done this in a year, so we're figuring it out. I wish that they had been deliberating and practicing along the way so that they knew how to properly judge up until this point, because it really felt like they had no clue what they were doing, judging-wise. So next week is a makeover episode, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what is going to happen. But I'm worried for Mother Melinda because I don't have confidence that she can paint her own face, let alone someone else's, and transfuse her energy into somebody else. Plus, they're really getting on her about her fashion. That spells doom to me. So we'll see what happens next week. Who are you rooting for in this top 5? Who do you want to win the whole thing? Right now, for me, it's It's Nira. I really want Nira to win. Yes, I love Venus. I love Aurora. I love Melinda for what she is on television. I've pinned Denim as being a top fiver since day one. I really want Denim to go far, but I just don't know who I want to win. I think this is such a nice round season because everybody's got challenge wins, and those are the most interesting seasons to me. When I think of great ones, I think of seasons like season 3, where by the time you got to top 7, it was so diverse of who had wins. Same with season 5, season 7 to some extent. There have been some really incredible seasons where there was just no front runner. Everybody kind of had a chance to shine. And I really enjoy this cast and I enjoy this season and I'm excited to see more. I just wish that this episode was judged more fair. And I don't think that's asking too much. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below and I will see you next time for another episode. Goodbye. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.